I didn't hesitate when I was asked to sit down with one of hip-hop's most influential groups, the Wu-Tang Clan. It's part of our celebration of the 50th anniversary of hip-hop. The rap's group's raw lyrical style and unique delivery helped popularize the genre in the early 1990s. They released their first studio album, Enter the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers, 30 years ago this month. Critics say it's among one of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time. We met up with members The RZA and Young Dirty Bastard, whose late father was also in the group ODB, to talk about their legacy and what's next for the Wu-Tang Clan. It's 1993. New York City, and the freshest sound in American hip-hop was coming from Staten Island. Ray got it going on, pal. Called me the rap assassinator. Rhymes rugged and built like Schwarzenegger. Armed with a unique name inspired by kung fu films of the 1970s, the Wu-Tang Clan were as dangerous with their rhymes as their martial arts counterparts were with their hands. Where did the influence of Shaolin, martial arts, that type of cinema, how did that come into play?
Well, it started, of course, in Manhattan, 42nd Street. Instead of going to school, we hung in the theaters all day. You're talking about 13, 14-year-old men absorbing 3 of these movies a day. Slaying boom bangs like African drums. Robert Diggs, known musically as the RZA, crazy flamboyant for the rap enjoyment, was the engine behind Wu-Tang's early success. Yeah, another one there. And helped assemble the group's roster. Wu-Tang, Wu-Tang. The GZA, Old Dirty Bastard, Method Man, U-God, Inspector Deck, Ghostface Killer, Raekwon the Chef, and eventually Master Killer. Within those films, it was always philosophy. It was brotherhood. It was train yourself to be the best you can be. Discipline, you know what I mean? Sacrifice, exactly. And so all those things, of course, it shows up in our music. The group's first studio album, Enter the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers, was gritty, raw, and low budget. Sometimes violent, and much of the time mixed with samples, it helped expand what hip-hop could be. An alternative to the West Coast gangster rap and jazz-infused hip-hop that was leading the pop charts. When I pick up this right here, what does this mean to you and to the Wu-Tang? Man, I'm gonna call it, it's like a signpost, right? A lamppost, a point where hip-hop, of course, was here before us. But once this thing comes, it's gonna change. What was it like for y'all working on the inside? In the midst of us growing success, we still had all the basic problems of being a young black man. Police pulling us over, putting guns to our heads, and all of a sudden we dropped cream. Living in the world no different from a cell. Those first road trips, I never forget. We started off in a van and everybody laying on each other's shoulder, right? And we went from being gold to headed towards platinum. For those that don't know, platinum is what? Platinum is selling 1 million records, physical. And that's old school physical. This isn't streams. Nah. Here I go, deep type flow. Jack you stole can never get this low. In 2004, at only 35 years old, Old Dirty Bastard, founding Wu-Tang member and RZA's cousin, died following an accidental drug overdose. The Wu-Tang was a group of individuals that moved like a family. But even within those individuals, ODB stood out. What was it like growing up and understanding the impact that your father had?
1, 2, 1, 2, this is how we do it from Brooklyn.
We didn't know what was going on, obviously.
Ow!
We had Pampers on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As long as mommy changed me, we was good.
Yeah.
He was real dirty, but we weren't that dirty.
Barson Jones, known as Young Dirty Bastard, is ODB's eldest son. Today, he performs with Wu-Tang in Dad's place. I'm penetrating through.
After the show at the Barclays, we actually sat down and we had a family dinner. It's like two sides of the family. It's like the dirty side and it's the digs. And no matter what, how high we climb at Wu Mountain, and that just brings us back to who we are as people, deeply rooted into each other. And I don't think nobody could change the dirt.
I can speak for the entire clan. When we see him on stage, embodying that energy of his father. And somebody the other day said he actually performed a little bit better that night than they've seen ODB perform. And I was like, whoa, 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 hold it. But the energy that he's giving and he's encapsulating, for us it's a joy because we know our brother is not physically here, right? But you have to have a physical representation of him that is as close as you can possibly get to him.
Yeah.
And to see him, you know, whether he's conscious of it or not, he goes into it.
More than 3 decades and 7 studio albums later, today, the Wu-Tang Clan continue to tour and pump out new music.
The pain that I experienced overthrew the fame.
So we've seen what hip-hop has accomplished over these first 50 years. Where do you see hip-hop headed?
I always say that hip-hop is a mountain. And I think 50 years only marks the base of the mountain. So I think we got a long way to go, and it's gonna keep evolving.
So enter the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers certified triple platinum.
Yes.
It is one of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time. And this is one of the greatest groups of all time.
And still going strong.
It's still going strong.
Yeah, I'm sorry his dad is no longer with us, but it's so nice to be able to see the son on stage where his dad used. It gives me goosebumps just watching that, Nate.
Yeah,
and what it
embodying
means
his
to the
dad's
group.
spirit.
Yes, and what it means to him.
Yeah, yeah, and it's interesting also how their perspective, their sense of where they are on the mountain of hip hop, on that trajectory, but also they refer to Wu Mountain, what they're trying to do, right? They're
Yes.
still climbing themselves personally.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing about it. It's the approach that they take. Usually there's lyrics that we listen to and they don't have meaning, but for the Wu-Tang Clan, they make sure what they say has depth to it, and they've been doing it for decades.
I like when he said people deeply rooted. I love when he pulled out when you pulled out the album and he talked about Cream and he went,
Yeah,
it's like you were having a moment.
Yeah, I did have a moment, a little flashback.
Yes,
you know?
I know.
Tony knows. He used to have a lot of road trips
For
with your
sure.
teams listening
Yeah,
to Wu-Tang.
yeah,
I
they
felt
were the
that.
soundtrack of life for a long time.
That's for sure.